Hey guys, this is Becca. Welcome back to my channel. I'm a homeschooling mom. We have 3 sons, and today's video is all about our curriculum for American and world history. In this video, I'm going to take you through our Charlotte Mason curriculum, or simply Charlotte Mason curriculum, that we are using for American history and world history this year. Now, this lesson plan book does include Bible and geography. We're not using the Bible curriculum that she offers this year, which we're going to resume that next year, so we will be using it next year. And geography is going to be a different video. I'm not going to combine all of them in this lesson plan book. We're just going to talk about American history and world history today. I love this though because, as you can see at the bottom, it's lesson plans for grades 1 through 12. I love lesson plans that take the guesswork out of what needs to be done as a family and what they need to do on their own, and all of that is so well laid out in Simply Charlotte Mason's lesson plan book. So I am going to show you a little bit of the lesson plan book and then show you the books that we've read so far this year. What I'm going to do is just open up the lesson plan book with the Simply Charlotte Mason curriculum. She starts the timeline with ancient Egypt, and she moves on to ancient Greece, then she moves on to ancient Rome, then she moves on to the Renaissance and Reformation, then she moves on to early modern, and then modern. So next year we'll be doing modern, and we will complete the entire cycle on the history timeline. This is our 5th year homeschooling and using the Simply Charlotte Mason curriculum. So year 5 is early modern and epistles. You don't have to go in order, starting with ancient Egypt and working your way through, but I thought it would be fun just to kind of start with the furthest back and kind of work our way forwards, and it's worked out great for us. Totally love it. So I'm opening up. One thing I love about these lesson plan books is a couple things in the beginning, and one of them is the complete year's book list. So she's showing you everything up top there that we're going to read together as a family. So in the top section right here where it says family, she's telling me that I need for American history, Stories of America, Volume 1. And then for world history, I'm going to need Stories of the Nations, Volume 1, the stuff they left behind from the days of early modern, which is this portfolio right here that comes with a number of laminated photos, and each of them have a description and a little booklet that I'll show you here in just a minute. And then, yes, that's it for family reading. And then below that says plus ... grades 1 through 3, you're going to need to pick up these books or check out these books from the library. And she gives you the entire list for the entire school year that grades 1 through 3 will need to check out or purchase. And then the same thing with grades 4 through 6. So I have those highlighted. And then she does that again with the next section, grades 7 through 9. And then she does it the next section, grades 10 through 12. Then she also has suggestions for where you can find the books that she's recommending the kids read during the year. So then here's another favorite thing. So our school year is broken up into 3 terms, and each term is 12 weeks long. So for term 1 right here, on just this one single page, she is telling me the books that I'm going to need for term 1. All I need to make sure I have is the stuff that I'm going to need for the first term or the first 12 weeks of school. I've mentioned this in a couple of other videos, but I just go through the entire year and I'll put all the books that we're going to read for the whole year in my cart on Amazon, and then I kind of look ahead in the lesson plan book and I go ahead and purchase the book within a few days of needing it. And with Amazon Prime, that works out great for us. I know I'll have some questions why we don't utilize the library and check books out versus purchasing them. And I just love having my own books. I don't like to give them back. So at some point, we're probably going to run out of bookshelves here in the house, but that's fine. The living room can just be covered in floor-to-ceiling bookshelves. I would love that. Anyways, again, I love that she has each term laid out. So term 1 has a page like this, and then when you get to term 2, it's the same thing. Here's term 2, here's everything that the kids are going to be reading, here's everything you're going to read as a family, and then same with term 3. So I love that because it's all laid out for me right before the term starts. Let me give you a sample of what the days look like. And I'll just start with lesson 1. So you know that you're doing American history because there's a little American flag right here. So you'll see on lesson 1, our first lesson of this year, it was Columbus, the Great Sailor. So she has right here, materials needed. So what I'm going to need is Stories of America, Volume 1, which is right here. And this is something that is specific to Simply Charlotte Mason. So you can get this through their website. But if I had a 7th through 9th grader or a 10th through 12th grader, if you can see there, those are the things that I would need for them. But don't have those grades yet, so all I'm going to need is this, okay? So you're going to see the next little section there that says family. And it just says, ask students what they recall about Christopher Columbus from previous studies. Explain that you will be starting a history of America, and this history begins with Columbus. Write Columbus on a sheet of paper or a small whiteboard so students can see how it is spelled. Then read together Stories of America, Volume 1, Chapter 1, Columbus, the Great Sailor, and ask for oral narration. And then after I read it, I will ask the boys to tell me back what we just read. Now, a lot of people, hear about narration or read about narration, and it seems really daunting to them. And I just don't want it to seem daunting to anybody because narration is just a nice fancy word for tell me what mama just read to you, And because they hear and process things differently, Isaiah's narration is not going to be the same as Elijah's narration. Isaiah is your typical type A, very organized, very system driven. So what I'm reading to him, he's going to pick up on different things. Elijah is our artsy musician that's a little more introspective, and he's just a little, his personality is just different than Isaiah's. So this isn't what I want them to remember. I'm not asking them to narrate back to me what I want them to remember that I read. I'm asking them to narrate back to me what they gathered from the chapter. And it doesn't have to be super stringent or take too long, but you do want them to communicate back to you orally what you just read. So this helps them to communicate, to gather their thoughts, and to verbally express and communicate the comprehension from listening to you read out loud. So that is what American history looks like. And then you can see lesson 2 right there is also American history. And it was about Captain John Smith in Jamestown. And we read another chapter out of Stories of America, which, by the way, has been one of my favorite history books thus far that I've read with the boys. Like I mentioned earlier in the video, this is our 5th year homeschooling, and I have a couple of favorites here and there throughout the years. It's just such a joy and honor to read particular books, and this just happens to be one of them for me. I love this one, and I love the one that they offer for world history as well, the Stories of the Nations, which I'll get to in just a minute. So the flow of the lessons in this lesson plan book. So let's just say we start on a Monday. Monday and Tuesday, we're doing American history. Wednesday, we're doing Bible and geography. Thursday, Friday, we're doing world history. That's how it's laid out. I'm remembering from all the other lesson plan books as well. So 2 days of American history back to back, Bible and geography the next day, and then 2 days of world history back to back. Okay, so I am going to show you guys the reading lists for the boys this year. All of these are living books. Again, this is American history, so our timeline this year was 1492 to 1850. So all of the books I'm about to show you are going to fit within that time period. I just showed you for the family reading portion. This is a book that I read out loud to them when we do American history. This is Stories of America, Volume 1, and it tells you right down there from Columbus to the Alamo, 1492 to 1850. This book is amazing. I love it so much. If you follow me on Instagram, which if you don't, you should, I post, well, not all day, every day, but I'll post in my stories a lot about world and American history. I would love for you to follow me on Instagram, Becca Glass _ Becca's Journal, all lowercase. Okay, so I'm going to show you the stack of books that each boy, each of our sons has read this year for American history. The first one is by Alice Dalgleish, and that's The Courage of Sarah Noble. This has been one of Elijah's favorite books this year to read. I have it on a video of, the video actually was Books for Boys. So this is about a little girl named Sarah Noble, but Elijah loved it and wanted me to add it to his list. I'll actually link that video above for you if you're interested in some of our boys' favorite books. They're in 4th and 6th grade this year, but the video spans from 1st grade on through our oldest son, Isaiah's 6th grade. So if you're interested in what they like, I'll leave the video link up above for you. Tolliver's Secret. Elijah just finished reading this one. He really enjoyed it as well, by Esther Wood Brady. American history. All of these, like I said, are American history. Sarah Morton's Day, A Day in the Life of a Pilgrim Girl. And then, same author, Samuel Eaton's Day, A Day in the Life of a Pilgrim Boy. The Pilgrims of Plymouth. And then the last book of the year that he's going to read for American history is Benjamin Franklin by Ingrid and Edgar Delaire, which is a favorite in our house. The boys have all of their books on mythology. I think the only one we're missing is the one on trolls, but maybe we'll get that one soon. So this is the last one that he's going to read this year for American history. So for Isaiah, this one I also mentioned in the Books for Boys favorite video. This has been one of Isaiah's favorite books, he said, ever to read in homeschooling, and that is The Sign of the Beaver by Elizabeth George Spear. The first one he read, though, was The Landing of the Pilgrims. It's a landmark book. We have several of these. And then right now he is finishing up A Young Patriot, which he's enjoying the American Revolution as experienced by one boy. And this is by Jim Murphy, and Isaiah, like I said, is really enjoying this one as well. Okay, guys, moving on to world history. So, like I mentioned, in the lesson plan book, it goes American history, Bible and geography, and then world history, and similar, well, exactly like with American history, lesson 4 right here, it's world history, and you know that because it has a little hourglass. And then it says materials needed. So I'm going to need Stories of the Nations, Volume 1, and I'm also going to need The Stuff They Left Behind from the Days of Early Modern. And that is this packet that I mentioned a little bit earlier. So that's my portion. That's the family portion of our world history lesson this day. Okay? So, right here, it's going to say family. And it says, explain that while you are studying the history of your country, you also want to study what is happening in the rest of the world. The other countries and people were not standing still doing nothing during these same years. Display and discuss the picture of the Cantino planisphere from the stuff they left behind from the days of early modern. Then read together Stories of the Nations, Volume 1, Chapter 1, A Bird's Eye View. You may want to refer to the map on page 165 if your child is not familiar with the continents and countries mentioned. So, I will open up this packet right here, the stuff they left behind from the days of early modern. Just like that. And so I'm going to open it up to the Cantino Planisphere, which happens to be on this first page right here. There's a picture of it. So I'm going to find the corresponding laminated photo here. And here we have it right here. So I'll display this wherever we happen to be doing school. If we're in the schoolroom, I'll just kind of prop it up on a candle or something that I have in there. I might put it up on the cork board. If we're sitting here in the living room, I might prop it up against the basket or the couch as we're laying here, reading together. So this is going to be up while I'm reading Stories of the Nations, whatever chapter. But there's a little description in each one. So it tells, that while the explorers were discovering unknown lands all over the globe at the dawn of the 1500s, this Portuguese nautical chart attempted to show the results of those explorers' expeditions, and then goes on to mention a few other things about it, and then asks some open-ended questions to the kids that they can respond back with. Like, compare this world map with a world map of today. What did the early modern map maker get right? What information was he missing? So it gives you an opportunity to pull out a modern map, take a look at the two, and kind of compare and contrast the map making back then versus now. So, and again, this portfolio has numerous photos that you will look at and talk about through the entire year. There's a description about each one of them and just very light, brief questions to ask the kiddos. So this is one of our favorite things to do together every year. Like I said, I'll just post the picture up somewhere, just leave it out until the next one that we're going to do, and then I'll just kind of switch them out. But I always keep it out just to have, something for the boys to look at and remember, what we've been looking at and learning in world history. And that would be it for world history, is me reading Stories of the Nations to the boys. And then if the lesson calls for looking at one of the laminated photos from the stuff they left behind, that's what we'll do. And then just like with Elijah, Isaiah will have a stack of books that he'll be reading throughout the entire year. So for world history, I will show you Elijah's books. The first one that I'm going to mention is A Lion to Guard Us by Clyde Robert Bulla. This is a favorite author of Elijah's. These books are great. This author is great. This is another one of his favorites that he's read, not just for homeschool, but books, period. So he really enjoyed it. A Lion to Guard Us. Again, this is world history, living books. The next one he read was Can't You Make Them Behave, King George, which was great. The illustrations were great. It's a really short read, but Elijah loved the illustrations in this one. And then the next book that he read was Dangerous Journey, the story of Pilgrim's Progress. And this is such a fantastic book. So if you do not have this in your library at home, you have got to get it. Guy actually read this to the boys the first year that we homeschooled. So Elijah was in kindergarten and Isaiah was in the second grade. He just read it out loud to them during the day whenever we had time or at bedtime. So I was excited to see this on Elijah's list this year, and he read it himself, and the illustrations in it are just wonderful. So this is definitely one that you need in your home library. Wonderful book. And then the last book for world history that he's reading this year, he's actually halfway through it right now, is Out of Darkness, the story of Louis Braille by Russell Friedman. This is his last book for world history. Okay, so for Isaiah for world history this year, again, these books are for the 4th through 6th grade reading list. And I'll go in order. I think he actually read Bard of Avon first. It's the story of William Shakespeare by Diane Stanley. And I love this author. I have mentioned her in a couple of other videos. The next one is one of my personal favorites that we read this year, and that is Good Queen Bess, the story of Elizabeth I of England, and this is again by Diane Stanley. If you've never heard of her or don't have any of her books, I just highly recommend them. They're so well written, the illustrations are always gorgeous, and you'll really get a lot out of them. And then the next book he read was Along Came Galileo. This was really great book as well. Isaiah loved it. And then the next one after that he read was The Ocean of Truth, the story of Sir Isaac Newton by Joyce McPherson. So the last book that Isaiah is reading for world history is the story of Napoleon, and this is the Children's Heroes collection. So this is a great one as well. And that is it, guys. That is what we have done for American history and world history this year. Again, we use the Simply Charlotte Mason curriculum and lesson plan book, Early Modern. Like I said earlier in the video, I did not take you through the Bible portion or the geography portion. I'll do separate videos for those. And we didn't use the Bible curriculum in here for the first time in our 5 years of homeschooling this year. But we've decided that we want to go back to it next year. I hope this video was helpful to you. I hope maybe you saw some living books that you'd like to get for your homeschool library. Yeah, that's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed this. If you have any questions, I would love to answer them in the comments below for you. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, I would love for you to consider subscribing to see more homeschooling content like this. I hope everyone is having a great day. Until next time.